Yeah. Fresh out the cell with a plan and a boo. Ain't clip beeping, but my heart's beating for you. Let's go. Met her on a prison pen pal site. She said you cute even in that orange light. Now I'm home and I'm free, kinda on probation. She picked me up in a Prius, pure elation. Got a teardrop tat and a heart full of dreams. She brought cupcakes and some government cheese. I said, girl, you a snack, maybe even a feast. She said, you just hungry cause you live with the beast. Love after lockup, wild and free. Got no keys, but she got the key to me. From yard time to FaceTime, look at us glow. From prison phone calls to reality show. Love after lockup, we don't play. Tinder got nothing on JPay. I did my time, now I'm doing hers. Doing laundry and love, both in spurts.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Love After Lockup Lockdown, where we are covering Season 2, Episode 51. As always, you can find us in our Facebook group and on Instagram at Love After Lockup Lockdown. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Lisa.
And this week we're covering Season 2, Episode 51. This is an episode of Life After Lockup titled The Final Straw. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fantastic.
I'm so glad we've reached the end of Season 2. I'm ready for some new people, I think.
Now we get to dive into this. Season 3 is good. It's a good one.
Either people loved it or hated it. There is no in between with Season 3. I mean, we by far Season 2 is everyone's favorite. It's the people who everyone talks about, but I don't really know Season 3 at all, so I'm excited about it.
I watched for next week is what I was working on right before we started recording. So I'm a little bit into Season 3 now, and it's pretty good. First episode coming out of the gate, it's pretty good, so I'm excited about it.
I can't wait. I'm going to be starting to watch that tomorrow, so I can't wait. I want to direct everyone to go to our Facebook page, not the Facebook group. So everyone who listens, make sure that you head to our Facebook page, because in April, and I don't know when yet, because I've got to get some stuff done for the contest, because we're going to be doing magnets as gifts for whatever we decide the contest to be. I haven't decided that yet. Magnets are a little more on the expensive side. They're a little bit heavier to mail out. So we're going to be doing one magnet per person. When everything's finalized, I will post on the page and let everyone know the details. And we need you to email us. If you enter, email us, please, your name and your address.
Yeah, we can't find you.
We don't know who you are and where you are.
Well, this week we start with Angela and Tony, and Angela's trying to get into the hotel room, but Tony has the door latched and she can't get in.
Yeah, she's thinking that he's got someone in there. Clearly, it like probably prostitute on her mind, but it's really not the case. But they made it look like it was. And he says, hold on. And he runs to the door and he opens it, and then he runs back to the bed and he covers up his head and he says, we can't see each other. I hate when this guy is sincere like that, because I know, and he gets cutesy, because I hate him so much, and I know that stuff is just not like actually him. Like, I don't know why he does it. He's like crazy pants.
It's so performative. You know what I mean? Like, it's not him at all, and you know that that's not his personality, so why is he acting like this?
It's so weird. I've said it before that sometimes he looks like he's reading off of cue cards, and it really fucking bugs me. Like, it's like, dude, this is life. Like, why are you acting?
And he's not good at the acting portion of it.
It's terrible. It's so obvious too. It's blatantly obvious.
And then upsettingly, she like hugs him through the blanket, which you're like, okay, whatever, you are getting married. And then she apologizes to him about the night before. Why are you apologizing?
Yeah, that was a bunch of bullshit. I don't know why she was apologizing. She should have stood her ground. She says that she overreacted seeing him touching another woman. Okay, stripper or not, he shouldn't have been touching another woman. And was confused as to why he was touching the stripper because I thought you weren't allowed to touch strippers.
Yeah, I don't know. So she leaves because she's got to get her hair done.
She says she's stressed out, overwhelmed by the wedding, and we got to Tony saying this bullshit. I didn't cheat on Angela last night, but I did get a handful of ass. He's
Right?
such a scumbag.
He's such a scumbag. He says he thinks he thinks that she will forgive him for anything that he does because she's always forgiven him. And this isn't the only time he's said this. He will randomly just anytime he'll be like, it doesn't matter what I do. I can literally do whatever I want. She's gonna forgive me.
Okay, she does forgive him, but it still puts a uh like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it strains their relationship because you can see the anger in Angela. She's not happy. And even though she does forgive him, and I'm doing air quotes, it still puts a strain. You can see it in her and the way she acts and the way she acts towards him. If he was just being how he should be and being with her and only her, he would get a totally different Angela and be living a totally different life.
Unquestionably, she would be good to him if he was good to her. But
Mm-hmm.
not that it's tit for tat, but he started all of this.
Yep. Angela has not done anything wrong, and her reactions are all valid. All valid. Anyone who says that they wouldn't do the same shit that Angela did is bullshitting you. People may have done worse, actually. I think Angela was probably pretty friggin' tame. So I hate when people talk down on Angela for like the list of rules, but I mean this man acts like a fucking man child, so she treats him like one.
You know what? I was sitting around thinking today, and I was like, Tony is awful. He's awful like, and if you combine our nicknames for him, he's awful like Moist Baloney.
Tony Moist Baloney. I wonder if they called him Tony Baloney in prison.
I hope so.
I really do. I really do too. So Angela is going to get her hair done. Her sister comes in and her friend comes in. They're carrying her flowers and they sit down and they immediately start fucking with Angela. But in a way that's like trying to wake her up. They don't really want her to go through with this. They're asking, "Oh, did you find him with prostitute and this and that?" And then they are Donna Faye asks why she's gonna marry him, and Angela says, "Well, maybe he will grow up."
Right. So we find out that Angela was actually married before, but she says that she didn't plan that wedding.
Mhm.
She doesn't really go any more in depth on that.
No, well, if she was only married once before, I do know that she was married to a man who is now deceased. So her first husband, I believe it's her first husband and only other husband, passed away.
Okay.
You can find actually pictures of her and her first husband on her Facebook. So I'm assuming that was a good relationship that probably unfortunately ended in his death, or she wouldn't have pictures of him on there. She also does have a son, which we didn't know, which we'll find out in this episode. So I'm assuming that, I mean, he's in a full-blown adult, so I'm assuming it's from her first husband.
Yeah.
So her sister says, "You like, what are you doing? Like, you have better sense." She's said this before, and we know that she does, but she just needs to go through with this.
She says she just wants it to be the best day ever, and she wants to feel the love between her and Tony flow through her.
And again, this is like having a baby to fix a relationship. Same thing with the marriage. A marriage is not going to fix everything. It's just a piece of paper. It's not going to change anything or change anyone's loyalty to you in any way. If someone tells you, "Oh, I'll stop cheating if you marry me," or "I'll stop beating you up because if you marry me," like they're not going to change just because they marry you.
It's a ceremonial thing. There's nothing about you that changes.
No.
But, Donna Faye tries to argue her points, like you said, And Angela goes, I think it's a little too late. And Donna Faye goes, no, it's not. Nope.
True. And they really are, like, more than one person is trying to get her to, like, stop this and not go through with it. And Donna Faye says, like, maybe Tommy and I should stop this so that we can stop all the trouble and heartbreak that you're going to endure.
Right. And you know that they will, or that you know that she will.
Yep.
Next up, Andrea and Lamar, and they arrive at home, and she knocks on the door and either yells, "It's the homie ghost," or "the Holy Ghost." And Tennyson says, "Yeah, but you said not to answer the door for him."
I know. It was kind of muffled. I'm like, wait, what did she say? Holy Ghost? And then I
That's what I thought
remembered, yeah, homie
but
ghost.
I kept rewinding it. I was like, I don't want to say. Yeah, I don't know what she said.
Is it the same Holy Ghost that impregnated her?
Well, he is there.
Yeah. Well, yep. So they come in with pizza, and as we've said before, and as the children have said before, the only time they do anything special for these kids is when they're going to have this, like, large, like, family breakthrough and big news. So and they sit down, they apologize for all of the fighting, and then we find out they're going to decide and have a family vote on where to live. So just like just like the kid said, this is like the only special time is when they're going to make huge decisions or have huge announcements.
Yeah. And when Andrea tells them that they're going to be voting to see where they're going to live, Tennyson says, hold up, we've already done this when we lived in California. And she goes, well, we're going to do it again. And he's like, you didn't listen the first time. Like, you did what you wanted to do.
Yeah, they had a vote, but the vote didn't, like, the kids at that time didn't want to go to LA, but Andrea wanted to go to LA, and even though the kids didn't want to go, they just went anyways. So he was right. And so Nyla says that voting on where to live by a secret ballot is not wise, it's immature, and it's stupid. And true. And again, her children are like little adults and they have more sense than their mother does.
Nyla feels like the Lamar and Andrea are going to argue no matter what the situation is.
Well, why would it be any different? That's what they always do. Well, I mean, let's say that Andrea starts the argument and then Lamar just gets drug into it.
That's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems very easygoing and she seems very difficult.
Yep.
That's at minimum, that's how they're portrayed.
I feel that if Andrea was not high strung, that they probably wouldn't fight. They'd have disagreements but
Probably.
no big blowouts.
She says she wants to be happy with her husband and her kids and not in two different states. And no matter what, they're all going to live together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, it looks like they decide to, like, hold the Book of Mormon to, like, speak and say why they want to uh move and where and why. Kind of
Yes.
like the movie, what is it? That cheerleading movie where they hold the cheer sticks so they can talk.
Oh, I have no idea. Is it Bring It
Can't remember
On?
the
Isn't
name of it.
that?
Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah.
That's a cheer movie, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly the movie.
Well, Nyla's afraid that if she wants to vote to go back to LA, that Andrea is going to disown her. And the way that Andrea behaves and the way that these kids respond to her tells you that they have dealt with some real shit.
I agree. That would be a real real fear because she's a little off. She was going to poison them at breakfast. So
That's still
and
so upsetting.
it's really weird. I looked for that clip because I was going to post it in the group, but I only found the one where they take him for ice cream and she tells him about the Holy Ghost. So, anyways, Andrea says that she doesn't want to live in LA because she has an African American son. I wanted to kick her through the screen. She is using her son being being black as a reason why not to live in LA. Like as if all of LA is just gangs and like murder and drive-by shootings. And like, where are we in a movie here? I mean, rich people, very rich people live in LA.
But they're not going to live in the rich section. I think this is a valid concern on her part. I think that this is something that she could argue that is a valid concern. His risk of being shot by anyone, gangs, police, anybody, increases vastly in LA versus Utah. So in that, I think that she's got a point.
It
That's
depends
not to
on where
say,
they are going to live, though, because we did see the houses that like Lamar was at when we were in the LA scenes. They didn't look like they were living in the ghetto, you know?
sure, but I mean, her argument is, I feel like it's valid, but where is also extremely valid too, you know?
She has a way of making it seem like the entire, like when she speaks about Utah, it's all of the state of Utah.
Hmm.
Utah. It's all of the state of Utah is good
Right.
and all Mormon and no one commits crimes. And then she's doing the same thing with LA. She's doing LA as a whole, like no matter where Tennyson goes in LA, it's bad, you know?
So Tennyson suggests using a secret ballot so that nobody has to just come out and say.
Yeah. I was shocked a little bit that there were so many of them on the LA side, especially Nyla. But we find out that Nyla is looking for a dance career, and LA would make sense for her because that is where you would have the most opportunity. Likely, she's not going to be a professional dancer in Utah.
Probably not. Not for what she's after. I mean, how many people are. Yeah, I just wouldn't think so.
Like, she'd be one of those like Irish dancers, like
Probably.
in the pub.
Well, Tennyson says he's conflicted about living in LA, and there are things about living out there that scare him, both for himself and for how his sisters will be interacted with. He's such a smart kid. Like, I feel like he's got a healthy level of concern without being over dramatic.
Yeah. Also, Lamar. Remember, Lamar's in school, and he says I go to school there, and also we do know that he is working on a rap career, and it presents much more opportunity for him there. Again, what rappers do we know that have well gotten famous in Utah? None, zero. You have to go somewhere where you have opportunity, and he is in the right place in LA.
And they end this scene with the first two votes being for LA and the second two votes being for Utah.
Yep, and they're gonna hold off on the third or fifth one. Wow, fifth one.
Next up, Lacey, John, and Shane. And Lacey yells at Shane and tells him to get out of her house and throws his clothes at him.
Yeah, and again, Shane says, "Well, there's no coming back from this," and Lacey says, "Well, I haven't come back from the fact that you cheated on me."
Fair. He said, everything was fine last night and they were laying together. He doesn't understand what happened.
Well, she swings back and forth like a friggin' door. I mean, it makes sense with her. She's just so back and forth. She can't decide who's sexiest at the moment.
At the moment, that's the key.
So they're going outside, and here's Big Daddy standing out there. He goes back in the house and follows Shane, and John calls him a little bitch.
Yeah.
In what is Shane's home right now?
One of the things was when he was arguing with Lacey, she tells him to stop playing the victim, and he yells back at her and says that she's playing the victim, not him. And this reminded me, in my head, all I kept hearing was, I know you are, but what am I?
Hmm. Yeah, and a little bit they are both playing the victim. Well, I mean, but Lacey decided she was going to play the victim before she started this argument. Shane didn't know he was going to be a victim.
Well, I mean, he did cheat on her, and he's not taking any
Yeah.
responsibility for that. Like him just going, "Well, I did it. Yeah, sure, but I don't know how their relationship is, but that's not the way most people want that handled. Like, don't be so dismissive of the fact that you fucked up, man."
I don't know why he thought she was just going to be okay with it, which is really weird. But I guess he's young and it kind of makes sense. But I don't agree that she should have been okay with it. And I definitely don't agree that he shouldn't have told her. But to expect no repercussions from telling someone this is crazy.
It is. It's I don't what are you thinking?
Hmm.
So John follows Shane into the bedroom and says, "Why do you keep walking away? Big Daddy's here now, and you are gone." And he keeps calling him like his referring to himself as Big Daddy didn't happen one time. Like I think he did it at least twice.
Yeah. And for for the fans of this show who have been watching from day one, you say Big Daddy, they just know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And also Chan and Chain. And the people that are like, who's Chan? Who's Chain? When I make posts like that, I'm like, dude, you are not a real fan, then get out of here. Get out of here.
They could be new watchers who haven't gotten there yet. There are a million episodes per season.
Mostly it's people who started watching in season 6 is what it is. They're missing out. They need to go back.
So Shane was like, "Oh, wow, are you really serious right now?" He does like it's so mind-blowing to him that any of this is happening.
Yeah, yep. Lacey just is being a smartass, and she's like, "Oh, you didn't know where I was today? I was with John." Well, we he figured that one out.
Yeah, you don't say. Can we do a no shit Lacey? So she tells Shane that she told him the same day, unlike him, who waited until after they were married. That's a valid argument.
Yeah, and I think it's because he thought she wouldn't marry him, and now we know that's probably likely true. He probably should have said something. He Shane says, "Well, oh, I don't run around behind someone's back. I in saying I was just with John all day, but we're not. These two are like, well, I did this, you did that. I mean, like two, like they can't fight bad with bad. It's never gonna
Mhm.
work. You did this to me, I'm gonna do that to you."
And John doesn't even realize that he's just being used in this ongoing saga.
Yeah, John is just wanting his life back. Understandably, the life that he thought he was going to go back to when he got out of prison, the life that he was promised.
He
But
thought.
yeah, but he doesn't understand that Lacey is just a user. She's just using men for attention. That's what she does. Whoever is giving her the most attention at the time is the one who she's going to choose. John gives her loads of attention, and
He
Shane's
does.
just in Shane's mundane in life right now, getting comfortable, playing video games, going to work, and not doting on Lacey. That's what I feel it is.
It very well could be. I mean, she says she trusted him, but now Shane has her second guessing whether she did the right thing by marrying him so quickly. Probably not. I mean, obviously not. We know now that no.
Yeah, and John is just digging at Shane. Well, you just sat around for 6 months, and then Shane comes back and says, "Why don't you go sell some drugs?"
So John says, "You can say whatever you want about my past." And Shane goes, "Your past? You literally just did this. Like it's active right now. What are you talking about?" That
Literally,
was
he is.
actually hilarious.
Yeah, because he's acting like as if like he's this changed man. He literally fucking just did drugs and and went back to fucking jail. And they're just like this is like a child fight, like brothers fighting. So Shane's like packing up his shit in like a bag, like a garbage bag, and John's like, "Oh, you don't even have a suitcase. You're using a trash bag."
Yeah, sick burn, dude. What the
Yeah.
fuck? That was the dumbest. Shane says he would demolish John in a fight, and there isn't even a competition, but
Yeah,
he doesn't want to go back to prison.
exactly. Again. Yeah, and then they're gonna square up to fight anyways.
Right? But John's being a dick though. Like he puts on Shane's hat for work and oh maybe I'll keep it. Like you said, how fucking old are you guys?
hmm And Lacey's kind of like laughing about this, like
Mm-hmm.
like you can see the smirk on her face. And then in the next breath, she's like, "Well, I don't want the cops to show up because both men have a lot more probation to do, and if they go back to jail or prison, she's stuck with nobody." Hello, doesn't that say a lot right there?
That's her concern and her only concern. If they're both gone, then she has nobody. If one of them goes, she has the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, like always, production is the one that's getting in between them. But at least these guys were younger and not 70, 80 years old.
I don't feel like there was any real threat of them actually squaring off. Like, I think that this was staged.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Shane looked really mad.
I've seen a
For real mad.
I've seen a picture of the two of them like smiling over a beer.
Really? Can you
Yeah.
find that?
I don't even know where I saw it.
Oh, we have to find that. I'm going to look for it.
Next up, Angela and Tony, and the beach area is set up for their wedding. And Andre tells Tony that he looks great, and Tony says he's ready to do this.
Yeah, we cut to Tommy saying that Tony isn't done experimenting with life. I think that Tony's had a lot of life and done a lot of experimenting. We talk about Tony like as if he's 15 years old.
But that doesn't mean that he's grown out of the experimenting
No,
and the running around and acting a fucking fool.
well, he's a man child, and he will always. Some men are always going to be like that till the day they die.
Yes. So Tommy says that he's tried everything he can to let it be known that Tony is bad news. And he says at this point, he doesn't know if he's going to object or not.
Yeah, I was watching this with my husband, and he said, "Well, no." He said, "Well, thankfully, no one objected to my wedding." I'm like, "Do they even freaking do that anymore?" Because I've not been to weddings that they've ever done that. I don't think. Maybe one really super traditional wedding.
I have no
What about
idea.
you?
I haven't been to a wedding in so long. I have no idea.
I don't know. I just don't recall it. But it would be. What kind of a piece of shit would you look like if you actually stood up and said, "Oh, I object"?
No, don't do it.
Everyone like, so, like, 75% of the people there would be like, "You're a piece of shit," and then there'd be, like, 15% that would be like, "Right on."
Videotaping or start taping it with their phone, whatever you call it. It's not taping, recording
Ta
it. Jesus.
that's what Dave says, videotaping.
I still say it.
Oh,
Yeah. When I
yeah, but,
record something.
I'm videoing you. But, yeah, I mean, likely most of the people at the wedding don't know that Tony's a piece of shit.
At least her people do.
Mm, he didn't have any people there, but I don't know if everyone would know the story. Like Aunt Beth from like
Yeah.
Oklahoma's not gonna know.
Well, Donna Faye knows enough for everyone.
Yep.
So Angela is all dressed up and she's in the car with her son. And like you said, we just found that out this episode. I had no idea she had kids, let alone adult children.
Her son's name is Cody, and I think this is her only child.
And I thought this was so sweet, but she gets out of the car and she hugs her son and she tells him that he's always going to be her number one.
Yeah, that was really sweet. And he's walking her towards Tony, and Tony is smiling very big. And actually, that is the most sincere I've ever seen Tony be. That looked like a real smile for the first.
It looked like it, but he's so fucking deceitful.
Yeah. And then he says to her, "You look spectacular." And she really did. She really looked really nice.
Oh, yeah, she did. So Tony promises in his vows to be trustworthy, and I feel like my only response to that could be
Why did they have
okay.
to add that? Like, did he add that on purpose? Because they wrote their own vows, and it's like, why are you saying that? I promised to be trustworthy. Well, I should hope fucking so.
Is that even something you need to say? Just stop fucking lying, dude. Angela tells him in her vows that he's not allowed to go back to prison, and Donna, Faye, and Tommy like shoot each other this look. And I was like,
Yep, yep. And then they kind of like pan to like Tommy, like he's gonna say something, but then in the end, like he just doesn't say anything, and then boom, they're married.
she tells us that she's married now, and fuck all you strippers, bitches, prostitutes, and insta hoes because Tony is hers.
Me and Dave were like, what are insta hoes? Instos. Is it Instagram models?
Yeah,
Insta.
Instagram. Yeah,
Okay.
hoes on Instagram. I
Okay.
would
Okay.
assume thirst traps on Instagram is what she's referring to, but who the fuck knows, man?
Insta hoes. My brain went to like, is it like just someone you meet on the street that's like instantly a hoe?
Oh, next up, Megan, Michael, Sarah, and Maria, and Megan is in the studio making music. And my question is, why does she sound so much better on the show than the stuff we have heard that has been released?
I have no idea, but the words to that song were basically about Michael, and I just wrote that Michael shows up to see Megan and she's in the studio making lemonade because the song was like
Is that what they
it said
said?
something making lemonade, like and then the words were like about being the other woman, and like I don't know. I just barely listened to it, but it was really like aimed towards Michael.
I wasn't even paying attention to it. Probably would have made the scene so much better.
It was not good though. I'm sorry. I know she sounded better, but it was fucking not good.
He tells us that the fight between Maria and Sarah was the day before, and he had already planned to leave the following day to see Megan. What is he doing? Why does not know the meaning of this could have been a phone call? Fuck, at this point, it could have been a text.
I'm just like, it seemed like such a short and pointless visit. I'm just wondering if like production just said like, hey, we're gonna have to fly you here so we can do this scene so that we can get rid of Megan, because I'm assuming this is the last time we're going to see Megan. Megan's even fucking wondering why Michael's there. Like, why are you here? I mean, I'm sure she knew he was coming because they're filming a TV show. But really,
Right.
why? Why?
That's the whole thing. Why are you there? Why are you bothering her? You can put all of this to rest and stay in your living room.
Yep, yep. And she's fed up with him coming in and out of her life for no good fucking reason. Like, not that she's mad for no good reason. He comes in and out of her life for literally no good reason.
Right. There's no purpose other than just to keep her hanging on.
Yeah.
And he says that he's barely talked to her in the past month, but he feels like she deserves the face to face. Again, why?
She doesn't feel like she needs a face to face.
No.
She just said you ghosted me, like you've been missing for a month. And Megan says, well, what's been going on with us? Like, what are we?
Right. He's just telling her, like, oh, I've been hella busy and haven't been able to contact you. Doing what?
He doesn't fucking work. So he runs around doing drugs with Maria, barely seeing his kids, scamming bitches for fucking Snapchat money. That's busy. He's not fucking busy. Um, and then he tells her, this dumbass tells her, I'm in a relationship. Why the fuck would you go there to tell her that?
Yeah. She's like, why do you keep telling me that you want to be with me and you say you want me to meet your family, but you have this whole ass relationship going on?
Not only a whole ass relationship, but a whole ass wife still.
Still. She asks him how long he's been in the relationship, and he's like, "Oh, a little minute, but it wasn't when we were together." Okay, but it was. Last time he was there, he was talking to Maria, and he left her place and went straight to Maria.
Oh, he was absolutely with Maria, probably the entire time. And Maria's dumbass doesn't even fucking realize this. And Megan asks him if you're in love with her, and he says, "Yeah." Well, Michael's in love with everybody. One minute he's in love with Megan, then he's in love with Sarah again, then he's in love with Maria, then he's back in love with Sarah. Come on.
Well, this is so ridiculous because he was like, "You told me before that if anything like this transpired, I should talk to you." And she was like, "Beforehand, not afterward."
And then he says this bullshit that no one ever fucking likes and no one is ever going to do, is saying that he wants them to be friends. And Megan's just like, "I don't want that." And
Yeah.
good for her for fucking saying that. Because that is the biggest bullshit fucking line. Anyone who says that should just be throat punched.
He says he didn't come there to hurt her. And she was like, "Thanks, bro." Yeah, not for nothing, too, but Megan looked a lot better than any other time we've seen her. She
She
was
did.
glowing.
Yeah, she did. I think what might have happened is she saw maybe how she looked in the beginning on the show and just like kind of did like a glow up because she's doing music and she's been on a TV show and maybe I don't know. She did look really different from the first time we met her. She's kind of nerdy at first.
She looks great,
Yeah.
or looked great at the time of this.
Yeah.
Next up, Brittany and Marcelino, and they're eating breakfast, and she says she got a letter back from the court about seeing the case files relating to her first two kids.
Yeah, and it says denied. And it's likely because Marcelino noticed that the box is checked at the top that says abuse and neglect. And then Marcelino says, "Well, why is this checked?" Brittany says, "Well, the lady who she spoke to when she filed it said that it was because she was on drugs."
Mm-hmm. She says she's frustrated, but she's never going to give up hope.
Yeah. She said she would have to go through before a judge and explain why she's a changed person and basically prove her case that she is not living that type of life anymore. And she was a child when all this happened.
Right.
I would hope that if she did do that, like that a judge would give her the benefit of the doubt.
You would hope so. I mean, we do know that she got back in contact with them, and so she would have had to have done that somehow.
Yeah.
And Marcelino tells her that as they get older, it's natural that they're going to want to know who their mother is.
Mhm. Yeah, like he's saying time is on their side because the kids are already teenagers and that eventually they're just going to have the right to find her without her trying to find them. You can't bank on that actually happening though. But he's kind of right. So he's kind of trying to make her feel better. Brittany says, I chose to change my life for the better, and she's kind of like she's upset. She's like, like no one knows this though. Like the court doesn't know this. They just know what they saw originally.
Right, they're basing it off the
Mhm.
files. And he tells her that he knows that this puts a hole in her heart. And you can
Mhm.
tell that it does. You can tell that she's really suffering with all of this.
Yeah. She says that she's not going to find the father of her children, which we originally thought she was going to do, and that she's ready to move on from this part of her life, which she shouldn't have to move on from her original children. From the father, yes.
Well, yeah, she's not trying to move on from the kids, but definitely from him. And as her abuser, I think that this is the healthiest thing she can do is just, cut and move on and try to rebuild her life as she's doing and as she has done.
Hmm.
Next up, Andrea and Lamar, and she's counting the votes and finds out there are 3 votes for LA and 2 for Utah. And my notes say, ha 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 ha, fuck you, Andrea.
I was trying to figure out who voted for Utah besides Andrea. It was either Priscilla or Tennyson, but I couldn't figure it
Tennyson, I
out.
think.
Yeah. So Priscilla says, I'm going to miss Utah, but I'm happy that we're moving to LA because of beaches and Disney World. But in LA is Disneyland, right?
Well,
Because Disney
I don't
World is
know.
in Florida, but she's a little girl.
She's a little girl. And she knows that Lamar lives there, so she's going to be by
Yeah.
daddy.
Yeah.
Tennyson says he prefers to live in Utah because of the safety and because they can have a nice house. But there are a lot of opportunities for him and his sisters in LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, because must be he's gonna pursue something that would be better in LA too, but he didn't say, but for him to say opportunity, I don't know. He didn't really elaborate. And Andrea starts crying, of course, because she needs to be
Of
very dramatic. And
course.
Priscilla is acting like the adult, of course, here and hugs her. And Andrea goes into this whole spew about shootings and killings in LA, and of course, being very, very dramatic.
Lamar says he understands her concerns about LA, but this is a step in the right direction.
Hmm. Yeah, he says that they can all live out their dreams in LA. And Andrea then says, maybe I'll feel different in LA now. Well, that would be the mature thing to say for once, Andrea.
Yeah. She says she's willing to try it for a year, and 9 of those 12 months, she wants to be pregnant. Where the fuck did this even come from? Like, she hasn't said anything about a baby, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, bam, and I want a kid.
Yeah, I think they're a little old for a kid, but yeah, to the best of my knowledge, they did not have another child.
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Um, and Andrea says, "Well, the ghetto, here we come."
Yep. And she said everybody else got what they wanted. Of course you feel that way.
Yep.
Next up, Clint and Tracy, and Tracy's on the phone telling someone that Clint is going to bring her in, and I'm assuming she's talking to the rehab facility.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah. And she's saying she looks really bad. They're in the car and they're going to drive to the rehab. She tells him she's sorry about all the times that she ghosted him.
And he says he never thought the day would come when she would actually want to make a change, but that decision to go to rehab was all her. But how do you figure this considering he repeatedly threatened to divorce her if she didn't go?
Yeah, no, I mean, she eventually gave in and made it look like it was her decision, but it really wasn't. She had a lot of ultimatums going. Clint again says he doesn't know when her court date is, and I don't know how he doesn't. It just still makes no sense to me.
He says they'll be able to tell the judge that she went to rehab. And he calls Alice to let her know that they're on their way. And Alice tells Tracy that she's proud of her, and Tracy starts crying. Alice tells her they can all have a good life together, and she tells them that she loves them both. And Alice is awesome. She's fucking awesome.
Hmm. Yeah, and then Tracy's crying, and she says that Alice has always been so supportive. And I mean, likely had Tracy done this from the beginning, it seems like they would have been a very good support for her and helped her stay clean. But that's not what happened here. And her and Clint like pull over, I'm gonna say, to like take a break or from driving, and they're hugging and sitting like on a rock or something, and she's crying. She says, I'm so mad at the world right now. I don't know, is she mad because she has to stop the drugs? Is she mad because of everything she's done? I don't know.
Well, and she says that she doesn't know why either. And I could relate to this. I have been angry with no justifiable reason, but I'm sure she does have legitimate reasons to be angry at the world. Most
Hmm.
people do to some degree. It doesn't mean you let it overtake you and sink into the drugs, that's not the answer either.
I would assume anyone in this position would feel that they wasted a lot of their life being like a prisoner to drugs and then being an actual prisoner. So, I mean, yeah, Tracy says I feel hopeless, and Clint says that it's not forever.
Right. She says she blames everyone else and never herself, but at least she admits it, which is
Yeah.
all fine, but you have to change that behavior. You can't acknowledge it and then continue to behave that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tells him she's scared, which is to be expected. I think anyone would be. Next up, Andrea and Lamar, and Andrea is dressed up, swinging the whip, and calls Lamar into the room.
Yeah, she's wearing fishnets and that mask that they bought in the sex store. And Lamar comes walking in with a shit-eating grin on his
Yeah,
face.
he does.
So funny. These
That
two,
smile.
they needed a spin-off. I feel had they gotten a spin-off and they would have made a ton of money, I think that Lamar would not be back in prison, and I think that they would still be married. But that's my opinion.
It could be. She says ever since he's been in Utah, the only thing he's wanted is to get some of her cha-cha.
That made me laugh so much. Yes, yes. So in Andrea fashion, she says, "Well, hold up, on one condition are we going to have basically she's insinuating sex." And she brings out a test to test his sperm count,
Is that
which
a
was
thing?
weird.
I didn't know you could do home sperm count tests.
I didn't fucking know that either. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, is that a thing? And then I was thinking, how in the world did they test that? Because I would think that the only way that you test that is sperm,
Yes.
because they haven't had sex yet.
Well, something happened.
I know.
He says his little soldier should be good, and she tells him that he ate a lot of prison processed food, but he obviously has working sperm considering he has a daughter from a previous relationship, and they have Priscilla together. His baby maker is working just fine.
And that was so confusing because I'm like, dude, don't you have a child? You have a child. She's only like 7 years old. He
Right.
was in prison for many years before you got pregnant with your 7-year-old child.
Yep. She also says that he smoked marijuana as a kid, as though that has some relation to this.
I don't think that has ever been proven. You can see things if you go on the internet one way and the other. One site will say it affects your sperm count, and the other one will say it raises your sperm count, and one site will say it doesn't do anything at all. And
Yep.
remember when marijuana killed your brain cells? So do
Yep.
cigarettes.
Oh my goodness. She said she's spiritually destined to have another child.
Ugh.
So she asks him if he's ready, and he covers his eyes, and apparently he passes the test, if that's how it works. If it's like a pass-fail thing, I don't know how it works.
Me either, but they're good and strong, is what she said.
And then he tells her he's going to pump some babies into her. And I'm like,
Oh,
please don't, Lamar. I like you. That's so gaggy.
ugh.
Next up, Brittany and Marcelino and their mothers are making a video at what appears to be a gender reveal party.
They were doing kind of like a selfie video kind of thing, and then I think it was Brittany's mom who was like, "No, that's too close." She probably had like double chin.
You can't take pictures too close, though. Honestly, I mean, you've seen the pictures. For me, when I take one too close, it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Let's back up a couple feet here.
Yeah, but neither you or I do the upward shot thing because like I think it feel like people know you don't look like that when you're taking a photo from like above. I think both of you are straight on photo takers.
So I found a picture in my camera roll yesterday, and I don't know where it came from, but what caught me was one of my eyes looks like it's going in a different direction, but it's like it looks huge. I look like a fucking lizard, like of one of these TV shows or one of the kids' movies, where her eyeball pops out, and I can't remember what movie it is. but that's what I look like. And then my forehead is enormous. I'm going to send it to you after we're done recording. But yeah, I look like the lizard lady whose eyeball pops out. So Brittany says they decided to have a gender reveal party because it's something that neither of them have ever done.
Hmm. Well, it makes sense that Marcelino hasn't done it because he doesn't have any other children, right?
Well, they've got the daughter, whose name I'm drawing a blank on real quick. But
Oh, that's right. Okay, so what? All right, so duh. So they do have another child, but apparently they didn't do a gender reveal for that child, and this is going to be their first for their together children. And Marcelino says, well, this time it's going to be a boy. And it looks like everyone that's at the party is wearing the clothing of whatever gender they feel the baby's going to be.
now, back when we had kids, I don't think anybody did gender reveal parties. I don't even know. Like, this just seems like a relatively recent kind of thing. Nobody was doing that kind of stuff.
No, I don't even remember when this shit started. I want to say it was like an early to mid 2000s type of deal because I had my kids starting in 1997 and I had never heard of a gender reveal. My last son was born in 2003.
Yeah, it would have had to, not necessarily had to have been, but it definitely wasn't as popular back when we had kids.
No, and they're gonna set off one of the popular things that people do for for gender reveals is those confetti poppers, and it either lets off blue or pink, obviously.
Marcelino says that they have a lot of support this time and they want to share the love of the gender reveal, and that's why he wanted to do it.
Hmm. Looks like they're like in an outdoor type restaurant area, like a courtyard, and there's like heaters, and they're wearing jackets, so it must be a cool or cold day there where they are.
I've heard it gets cold there. Like at night, it gets cold, and I don't know.
Yeah, and they're in the desert, right? It's Arizona, Las Vegas, whatever.
Las Vegas, yeah,
Mhm.
Nevada. He says to see a little boy that has a face that looks just like him is going to be good. I thought it was funny that he
Mm.
used the term good. It's going to be good because that's just kind of like the mediocre of the good of great, excellent, perfect, outstanding, amazing. I don't know. It's going to be good.
Well, he's a good-looking guy, so maybe he's like, well, this boy can become a model and a dancer in music videos as well.
A little junior.
A little model junior, yeah. Well, I mean, it just they're both good-looking people, so they're gonna have good-looking children, and they do the poppers, and it's blue for a boy, so Marcelino was right, and Marcelino was wearing a blue shirt, so he was banking on a boy.
Brittany says they have a lot to look forward to and they can raise their kids, and she wants to finish her degree.
Mhm. So Marcelino says that he needs to win a poker championship because they have another baby coming and it's expensive. And I actually looked him up online to see what his like stats are for like poker, and I could only find one set of stats. And whatever this championship was that he won like just slightly under $7,000. I couldn't find anything else.
He was able to win a
I
championship?
guess so,
Well,
yeah.
that's cool. And Marcelino says they definitely aren't making any more babies. The factory is closed. And he said that too before. Brittany said that she got implanted birth control and they still got pregnant.
That's freaking terrifying. But
Yeah.
but sometimes, on occasion, because they Brittany's a tall, kind of bigger girl, I'd say sturdy girl, and they do sometimes say that those implants aren't strong enough for people over a certain, like, weight and, like, BMI.
I know that's true
So
for the morning after pill. I watched a show about how it's only like 160 pounds or something like that. And if you're over that, then it's not guaranteed to work. That's
yep,
crazy work.
yeah, it's definitely that for, like, those implants too, for sure, and the patch is another one where you have to be a certain weight to have that patch.
Man, I wonder how many babies are here because doctors did not know they shouldn't prescribe it to people or they needed a higher dose or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. Next up, Clinton Tracy. And Tracy says she's scared. And he says it's not forever. And this isn't going to be anything like jail. And she has a good support
Mhm.
system now.
Yeah, so Clint thinks that she may be the part of the 2% that are a success story. And the fact that 2% is the prediction of who will succeed in sobriety is wild. And just
Is
goes,
that accurate? 2%?
I looked it up. And that is honestly crazy. So this would be like a lasting, lifelong, like sobriety of like 2% success. I mean, and if it's that low, we need to do something different because that is not a good, it's not a good
Well,
percentage.
let's be honest, treating drugs criminally is not the way to handle this. You need to treat it as a medical issue and not, and not as a sin against humanity, not as a crime that we need to throw people in prison for. We need to help
Isn't it kind of
people.
crazy though that prison is not optional, but treatment is when you get out of prison? So shouldn't we start mandating medical help treatment? I mean, I understand that they have the right to, well, everyone has the right to turn down any sort of medical treatment, but we should be doing something court mandated for medical treatment. I don't know what kind of laws that breaks or whatever,
I
but
mean, the courts can throw you in a psych unit for 70, what is it, 72 hours or something? So why can't you be put into treatment? I mean, if they can mandate you get psych treatment, why can't they mandate that you get some type of drug treatment
very
also?
true. I never even thought about that. Yeah. So in some cases, yeah. And there have been courts that have ruled like that people whose families wanted them to be removed off of life support or to stay on life support, the courts have been like, nope, we're ruling this way, or in like, you know, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I guess you're right. But like for some reason we can't enforce forcing people to go to drug treatment for whatever reason.
I think that at least for a while, I don't know if they still do, but they gave that as an opportunity. Here, you can go to jail for this long, or you can go and complete treatment. And if you don't complete treatment, then you're going either to jail or back
It's
to
kind of
jail.
crazy though that Tracy is one of the examples where they would rather go to jail than to go to treatment, which is crazy.
That doesn't make any sense, but I feel like you would have to be in active addiction to understand where she's coming from. And, I, it's that desperation I think people have.
And we do know that in a lot of prisons and jails, you can still get access to drugs.
Right. Where
So,
there is demand, there is usually supply.
mhm.
So Tracy says they're going to get through this and they're going to have a clean slate. And that's what I wish would have happened.
Yep. Clint says that faith that he has faith that things will turn out good. And eh, Clint says that the only way that he will give up on her is if he's not breathing. They're getting closer. And Tracy says, well, the closer we get to the rehab, like the better I feel. So,
Right. And he tells her that having seen all of the effort that she's put forth, he's really proud of her. And they arrive at the
mhm,
rehab facility. But then we find out that Tracy left after 24
crazy.
hours. Next up, Angela and Tony, and they arrive at their reception where I assume he is wearing shoes.
Yeah. So Tommy's there and he must be blasted. He looks blasted. He's slurring his speech.
He was so drunk, so drunk. I was like, were you drinking during the wedding? Like, how do you get that plastered that early
He's
on?
he must have. I know that at weddings, as soon as they open that bar, I am drinking, so I'm with him. But, yeah, and when you're drinking, if you're a happy drunk, sometimes, like, it's, like, kinda like if you took, like, a Lortab, everything's suddenly better, and everything looks better and feels better, and your problems suddenly look less bad. So he goes, "Well, I'm looking at both of you, and you're a crazy couple." And then he tells Tony that he looks cool as hell, or what did you say? He said, "Cool, you're a cool ass motherfucker."
cool motherfucker, and you guys are going to be cool as
Yeah.
hell. Tommy's so funny. But Tommy tells us that nothing has ended between him and Angela, and this is just another chapter in their lives, and he could still end up by her side one day. And it's sad to know that he never did get that opportunity.
No, because he passed away this year, or no, well, 2025, right? Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, late
Yep,
last
yep.
year. Mm-hmm.
So Angela says that Tony and she have been through so much in 3 years. Yeah, more than you should have, because the first few years are usually the happiest, and in this case, they've not been happy.
Their honeymoon phase lasted their wedding day, and that's it. Like, they didn't have that, however long it's supposed to last. 3 years, 3 months, I can't remember.
Not any of it was happy, not even like the car ride from the original
Nope.
pickup from the prison was happy, because that was the blowjob or steak thing, and he's like, "I want a
Yeah.
steak."
And they cut from the wedding to 48 hours later, and she's doing an interview, and the producers ask her what marriage means to her, but she is distracted on her phone. And they ask her what she's doing, and she says she's going through his phone, which means she took the SIM card out of his phone again.
Yep. And the fact that she did that is just goes to show how quickly he turns, because she said he was like really acting weird. So we speculated he was just marrying her so that he could then make her happy, and then hopefully she would focus less on him doing the wrong shit.
Right. The producer says, let's finish this interview and then you can go look through his messages. But she was having none of that bullshit. And she calls him on speaker right away. And you're like, ooh, this is going to get good. Because when Angela gets mad, she gets
Mhm.
mad.
Yeah, but we can hear Tony screaming at her on the other end. And I f- I feel like right there is probably the real Tony, because we always say that when he's speaking on camera, he looks like he's faking or acting or reading cue cards. And I feel like right there, like the fact that he snapped so quick and started screaming at her in that voice, that's probably the real Tony.
Probably. Yeah. She tells him to get in his car and drive the fuck away. And then he
Hmm.
hangs up on her. And she says, this motherfucker thinks
Yep,
I'm a dumb
he
bitch.
does.
Yeah, he does. Who's the real dumb bitch in this situation?
Tony, the dumbest bitch.
Moldy baloney Tony. Next up, Lacey, John, and Shane. And Shane and John are talking trash to each other, and she's standing there with this dumbass look on her face like she isn't responsible for putting both of these men's freedom in jeopardy.
She totally is, and she loves this. She loves this shit. She loves that two men are fighting over her. Shane says to John, "I'm going to knock you the fuck out." And then production gets in between them. And this time, at least this time, they're not 70-year-old.
Right. Well, they could have gotten hurt if there was a real fight
Yeah.
going on. Like the there's two fights in Love After Lockup that were like really, you were like, okay, Kevin really knocked that dude out, and Marcelino really got physical with Tito. He beat Tito's
Yeah,
ass.
and the Michael and Rock thing was just a slap on the face, so that was nothing.
That's what I mean. I don't know that some of these aren't staged. The Brittany and Amanda one could have been staged, but that's another one that it looked like they were actually fighting. So Shane throws a bag at John. I think it's a bag. And Lacey stands up from the bed, like, are you for real? He threw a little bag at him, It's not like he threw a pan at his head.
I went back a couple of times. I couldn't tell what the hell that was, like a sweatshirt or a bag, like you said, a bag, a book bag.
I don't know. It didn't look like it was any danger of hurting him, though.
No, like he picked up the lightest thing in the room to wing at him.
Yeah. Throw this feather at you. And John says, I'll see you soon because I'm not going anywhere. And then he starts laughing and just walks out of the room.
Yeah, and Lacey says, "Get your shit out." And Shane is just like, You just want to push me to the curb." Yeah, she does, for now.
For now, yeah. He says that he made a mistake, but he got a job. He's doing good for himself and he's spending time with the kids. And he says the kids even call him dad. They look up to him and they're going to be devastated when they come home and realize he's not around. I believe that. She's in the bedroom FaceTiming with John, showing her titties, and he's outside with her dad building a trampoline. Like, he did fuck up. I will never make excuses for that. But in the long run here,
Yeah, she's fighting evil with evil, I guess, and I've said before, like, two rights don't make a wrong, but this is how Lacey deals with shit. Like, instead of being an adult about it and dealing with it, she's just fighting fire with fire. It's really not a it's her way. It's never going to be a good idea, and it's never going to solve anything. You're just masking shit with a band-aid, which is John. Lacey throws, I think, their picture at him, and it breaks on the ground. I'm thinking it's a picture of them. It like lands like face down, and she says, "Get out." And there was, like, I think glass, and it looks like there was, like, stains on the rug. I went back to see if it was stains on the rug.
it seems, I mean, it's a new house. You'd think it would be clean. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it's a new house, but he asks her why she's breaking his heart and asks her why she's doing this to him. And she says, "You broke your own heart, dude."
Yeah. So John now says, "I've got more stability this time, and I might ask Lacey to marry me again." I don't know what makes John think that he's now more stable, because he literally got out of prison, went back because he was using drugs because of Lacey, and now is in a drug rehab house, or like a halfway house. So how this equals stability, I don't know if
Yeah.
he's going back on the job thing and just calling that stability, but he's gone in and out of prison for years and years and years over his drug use. You can see all of his mugshots online.
Like, Shane is significantly younger, yes, but Shane has been
Hmm.
to prison one time. John is a repeat offender. And so, if we're talking about stability, yes, John has a job, but Shane also has a job. Maybe John has a better job. I don't know. But it doesn't mean that Shane isn't offering any stability. He's there day in, day out. He's helping you with your kids. He's going to work, at least by what they're
Hmm.
reporting to us. But Lacey says that she feels like Shane cheating started everything, and that's on him, not her. Well, that's not anything that's going to heal your relationship or your pain from
No,
being cheated on.
Shane hasn't figured out where he's going to go tonight, and he says that he's going to get a hotel room. And Lacey says she thought that Shane was the love of her life, but she married a stranger. She did marry a a stranger. That is exactly what she did. How the love of your life can be a person that you met 5 minutes out of prison and then married very shortly after, I have no idea. I don't know what her version of love of her life is.
Right. And she says it's a big risk that John could end up back in prison, but she's always said that John was her soulmate. Why did you marry Shane? If John is your soulmate, why did you ever marry
So
Shane?
Shane is the love of her life, and John is her soulmate. Got it.
Soulmate. That's problematic unless you have brother husbands. Shane says he fell in love with Lacey and she put him through a lot, but he still loves her and he wants to stand by her side, but he feels like a fool. And you should.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to fully trust Lacey, which is, I think, why he is pushing for Shane to leave so bad. Because I don't think he's going to fully believe Lacey unless she really makes Shane leave, is what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lacey says she needs to give her and John's relationship a chance. Next up, Angela and Tony, and it's 2 days after the wedding, and she comes home and is cussing up a storm.
Yep, yep. Downloaded those messages onto her phone, and he's been laying up with dope-headed prostitutes.
Again. She says she saw the messages and found out that this had been going on for several
Yeah,
weeks.
that's crazy.
So before they got married, while they were getting married, and then after they got married.
Yep, yep. It's always something with Tony. So she has not filed the marriage certificate yet, and it looks like she's not going to. And I don't know the answer to this. Do you know if she actually filed it and they were actually legally married?
I believe she did not. Yeah, I don't think she ever filed it. She says it's always something with him and it's time to go bye-bye. And she says this as she's changing the locks, which is, I mean, that is a huge step in the right direction because otherwise he's just going to walk in. That doesn't mean he can't talk his way back in because she keeps letting him come back.
So she says that he has an addiction, but he's going to wind up back in jail and he's just not going to drag her down.
She says, I thought that bitch was going to be trustworthy, like he said in his vows. Now, why would you think that? Like, I don't. She had to have believed him in some part to even bother marrying him because she paid for everything.
Again, just because you're sitting there physically getting married doesn't mean that that person is automatically going to change the day after they sign that paperwork and say those vows. They can say whatever the hell they want, and marriages are typically a happy day where everything is great for just that moment, but then real life happens after.
Bashes you in the
Yep.
fucking head is what it does. She she says she said she gets that he has an addiction, but obviously he doesn't want to get straight and wants to be a fuck up and can be a fuck up somewhere else. And she tells us that she's got to be done with him at this point because he's not going to drag her down with him. And that's exactly what he would do if she stayed with him. Next up, Megan, Michael, Sarah, and Maria. And Michael and Maria are walking on the beach, and he asks her if she's at peace. And she says, I got you, don't I? Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. Maria says Michael doesn't hide anything from me, and I have the passcode to his phone. Okay. He's hiding so much from you. And why do you have the passcode to his phone if you trust him so much?
Right? Why do you need it? Why do you have to bring it up?
Mhm.
Like, I have his passcode, but it wouldn't occur to me, unless he's like, go get my phone and do what the fuck ever, which happens frequently. I don't know. If you got to check your man's phone all the time, it's a rough you don't have to live like that. You could be with somebody who's more trustworthy.
It's annoying
Oy.
having to check or sneak to check their phone, or okay, so you never have to have a passcode on your phone. There are reasons these days to have passcodes on your phone because you have cards connected, you have apps to access your bank accounts and your credit cards, and you're this and you're that. My current husband didn't have a passcode on his phone, and I've never had to touch his phone. The only times I've ever had to touch his phone is to check, like, bills that he has on his phone that I don't have on mine. But, like, I tell him before, like, I'm doing it, and he just hands his phone. But, like, I told him, I'm like, "Well, these days it's not, like, safe to, like, not have a passcode on your phone." He's like, "Well, I've never had one." So we just put, like, the one on his phone where you, like, have to draw, like, a letter on it. But,
Yeah.
like, back when you didn't have to have a passcode on your phone, people would put it on to stop people from snooping in their phone.
Mhm. The thing is, like, for the most part, if you walk up to your man and you just say out of the blue, "Can I see
Yeah,
your phone?" and they hand it to you, if you can get into the phone, they're not
exactly.
hiding anything from you unless they think you're really, really
Yep.
fucking stupid. He says he hasn't told Maria yet that he went to see Megan because of how crazy things got with
Mhm.
Sarah.
Yeah, but she's also, Maria says that he's been doing everything to make me feel that I'm special and that I'm his only girl. Well, but why? And you just said about the Megan thing. She doesn't know he spoke to Megan though before the time before, right?
Nope.
Because when they were in the hotel, like he Megan hit him up,
Right.
but she doesn't know that he actually went to go see her.
Mhm. Right. But he says that he put an end to everything happening between him and Megan. So it's all irrelevant anyway. It doesn't matter that he went to see her, that he talked to Megan, and he lied to Maria. None of that. So Maria doesn't care that Michael slept with Sarah. Maria doesn't care that Michael went out to visit Megan.
It, she's so full of fucking shit. if she's oblivious, she's blind to it, or she's lying to herself, or I don't know. We then see Michael trying to prove that he's not a piece of shit by like taking a picture of the ocean, and he's talking about Aviana wanting to see the ocean and all of the water on the beach, and he says that hopefully at some point his girls can come visit him there in Miami.
You're right. He said that he was hoping to see the girls before he left New York, but because of everything that happened, he didn't think that was a good idea. I would say that's true.
But we cut over to Sarah, and Sarah says that Maria is a psycho female. Yeah, I'd say, that's probably accurate. Mm-hmm.
Sarah said that Maria is the type of female to be okay with whatever Michael does. Why do they say female? Why do they say that? Both her and Michael do that. It's so gross.
It is gross. It's all like demeaning, kind of like why are we categorizing them in like a
It's so
species?
weird.
Species. Yeah, she says that she doesn't know if Maria knows that she and Michael had sex. Of course she doesn't know.
He lied, and I bet you that when they aired that, he
Mm-hmm.
lied about that too. And she believed him. She says the final straw for her was when he left New York without saying goodbye to Aviana, and she asked if he died. She says at 4, Aviana shouldn't have to worry like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange worry for a 4-year-old to come up with, but I guess I don't know.
So I wondered if that wasn't part of the script because it just seems like a weird, like you said, a weird question for a 4. Not that she didn't, but it just felt scripted. Not that it
Yeah.
is, but I questioned that also. She says that she has accepted that she's a single mother of 2. I mean, you got pregnant twice. The first time, okay, that makes sense. You guys were together. Things obviously were okay because you got married afterwards. But that second time, no, she didn't know what was up, did she?
Mm-hmm.
So both times. Because she still thought everything was fine. He was still playing her
Yep.
big.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I take that back.
And then Michael says you have to let go of some weight, meaning what? Your children and your wife, like your responsibilities. Because you couldn't
Right.
possibly have real, true responsibilities. That's weight.
It's gross because he doesn't specify what he's talking about by weights. Is he talking about Megan and Sarah? Is he talking about the girls? What is he talking about?
Exactly. Then we cut to Sarah taking a pregnancy test, and she says everything happens for a reason. And I'm like, oh gosh. Of course she'd be this delusional to think that if she were pregnant, she says everything happens for a reason, that would possibly bring Michael back into her life. It didn't work the first time.
Or the second time.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. Well, this is the season finale of season 2. And the short updates are Andrea and Lamar have moved to LA and they're trying for another baby. Brittany and Marcelino are waiting for their baby to be born. Shane and Lacey are married but living separately, and she still has her wedding ring in a drawer. Tracy went back to rehab and completed a 45-day program, and when she was done, Clint was there to pick up his goddess. Angela kicked Tony out, and he is living in a hotel. Megan is focusing on her music career. Michael is living with Maria in Miami, and Sarah and Michael are still legally separated. Who is your VIP for the week?
It's going to be I chose 2. So I'm going to say Clint's mom and then also Tommy.
I chose Tracy for choosing to go back to rehab after leaving. And your POS?
And I have 2 for my POS because I can do this because this is the finale. And it's going to be Lacey and Tony. And I think that Lacey and Tony have won this more than any in our entire history of recording.
I also chose Tony for getting married while he was still actively cheating on Angela. Like, if you don't think that how do you think that relationship's going to turn out if you're still actively fucking doing it? So that's about it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, head over to Apple or Spotify to rate and review. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our group on Facebook at Love After Lockup, Locked Down. Listen every Wednesday wherever you find your podcasts and keep those notifications on to be the first to catch bonus episodes.
And in the meantime, don't fall in love.
And don't get locked up.
First date at Walmart, keeping it low. Told the clerk, don't judge me, I'm on parole. I brought roses, okay, 1 rose from a gas station. She said, aw babe, now that's validation. We be vibing in a halfway suite. Microwave dinners, romance elite. She my ride or die, she brought me a phone. Even snuck it in once, pre-release song. She hold me down like a key-o with charm. Except she don't mace me or twist my arm. We write vows in Sharpie on my court docs. Judge said no contact, but we beat the clocks. Love after lockup, cuffed and proud. Matching jumpsuits, now we rockin' the crowd. She said, don't mess up, I said, bet. Now we're TikTok stars with no regrets. So here's the love and second chance thrill. From a concrete bed to Netflix and chill. They said, don't catch feelings, but I caught a case of butterflies, girl, not just in one place. Ankle monitor beep. Oops, curfew gotta bounce.